everyone, I'm Randy Floyd and you're watching episode 2 of the Ask Midwest Anxiety Show. So I'm here at Chipotle today. It's a very nice day out again. Really trying to take advantage of these days that we're doing the Ask Midwest Anxiety Show. It's fall. Pretty soon it's going to be winter and we're going to be inside. So I apologize if it's a little hard to hear sometimes. I got to get mic'd up. Got to get a mic. But I got a nice mic on the camera. So you might hear some wind and those things, apologize, but it's a beautiful day out here at Chipotle, and really love Chipotle, so I thought I would do episode 2 from Chipotle. So as we did episode 1 yesterday, we're going to continue to do these episodes for you and bring you lots of good content and answer your questions. So one thing I'd like you to do is I'd like for you on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, just submit a question to us. You can submit any question to us. What's my favorite holiday, or really kind of anything. We answer a lot of your social emotional questions with the hashtag of Ask Midwest Anxiety. And when you submit a question to us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, we will answer your questions on the show. So I'd love for you to do that. I'd love for you to provide some questions and then for me to answer them. Dance for Kindness, talked about that in episode 1. Kansas City has been awesome at the DFK Dance Dares. Wow, have you seen some of them? We've got all kinds of schools doing the DFK Dance Dares. We've got some dance schools doing them. A lot of excitement around around Dance for Kindness. This is our second year doing Dance for Kindness, and really feel really good about this year. It's going to be at Prairie Fire on November 13th. That's a Sunday from 2 to 5. If you don't know much about Dance for Kindness, it's done all over the world, all on November 13th. One dance, it's a flash mob, one dance, one song, done all over the world. This year it'll be in 50 countries, over 12,000 people doing it, and we are the only ones in Kansas doing it, so it'll be at Prairie Fire in Overland Park. So I would definitely encourage you, your friends and your family, to also join us in that and sign up. You can go to MidwestAnxiety.com and sign up for that. But what I think we should do is we should just get into the show. How's that sound? We've got 3 questions for today. The first question is, I get anxious about getting anxious. Any thoughts about how I can stop being anxious? This is a great question, and this is something that comes up a lot. And I talked about Reed Wilson and some of the stuff that he talked about with anxiety in episode 1. And I'm going to go back to Reed Wilson in this episode when we're talking about anxiety. Reed Wilson talks about that anxiety is a mental game. You got to play this mental game with anxiety. The more that you think about getting anxious, the more that can then contribute to you getting more anxious. And so really the idea around not wanting to feel anxiety anymore, a lot of times people say, "Oh, Randy, can you help me stop? Can you help me stop being so anxious? Can you help take the anxiety away?" And so one thing that I really kind of like to start with is just this understanding that that anxiety is good, that it protects us from danger. We need some sense of anxiety, some low levels of anxiety. Like right now, I can feel my heart beating just a little bit. It's because I want to provide some good information, good content to you guys, and so that kind of keys me up to say, oh, okay, all right, I'm going to be on point here. So some just low levels of anxiety are good. But I understand when you say, can you take that anxiety away? That's the anxiety that really impacts and impairs your everyday life. And So when we start thinking about anxiety, we go back to this cognitive behavioral kind of perspective. Remember thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. And I really think that process plays out, that cycle plays out when you start getting anxious. So for some people, you start having anxious thoughts, then that might cause anxious feelings, and then cause anxious thoughts, and then anxious behaviors. Maybe for some of you, it's your anxious thoughts that create anxious feelings, then that create anxious behaviors. But all in all, what I want to say about this is that we really have to understand that anxiety is playing tricks on us. It's playing tricks on our mind and our body. It's really wanting us to kind of listen to it and listen to being anxious. Now, the thing that I want to kind of say to you today would be this. There's one thing I could give you today around anxiety is to celebrate being anxious. Yeah! I'm starting to feel anxious. Why do you want to celebrate being anxious? Why? A lot of you are saying, no, I don't want to celebrate being anxious. It's because when you feel anxious, then you can apply a certain set of skills to it. And we really want to change our mindset. Anxiety is neither helpful or hurtful. It's how you think about anxiety that's either hurtful or helpful, right? We want to change our mindset around it. And with our mindset, we really want to say, yeah, it's anxiety. No big deal. All right, I've been anxious before. And what we want to say is, I can handle it. I can handle it. A lot of times people say, I can't handle it. If I ever get anxious, if I ever have a panic attack, I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. And I want to shift your way of thinking to, I can handle it. And when you shift that way of thinking, is that, wow, I've just got this new sense of confidence. I don't feel out of control. That's another thing that people often say when they start to feel anxious is, I feel out of control. And we want you to be able to say, whatever happens, happens. I can deal with it. So I really want you to kind of think about that, rather than when you get anxious, that you feel that you're out of control and that you can't handle it. That you do want to be anxious, and you want to celebrate being anxious. The more that you feel anxious, the more you can put a new skill set against it. So celebrate your anxiety today. Understand that anxiety is an emotion and that you can manage it. You can manage anxiety. And I will provide, maybe I'll provide a workbook on panic. And also around Reed Wilson, maybe I'll link up anxiety as a mental game. There's a podcast, and he's got some good stuff around noise in your head and several other things. So in the video, I'll link that up. Next question is, you talk a lot about positivity. Sometimes it's tough to be positive when things get really tough. Can you give some ideas about how to stay positive? For me, positivity, that's the only choice for me, is positivity. I think you have a choice between positivity and negativity, and somewhere in between. But really, the way that I think about this is, while situations may come at you, and there may be some really tough situations, you may have a death in the family, or something tragic may have happened, or something a little lighter, as you just don't feel well, or various other things. I think on occasion it's good to we can't always think positive. That's probably a wrong way of thinking, is that we can't be positive all the time. But I think the goal here would be is to understand that you have the ability at any time to be able to change the way that you think. And it really is a mindset. It's kind of like turning on or off a light switch. And I think you really have to kind of develop confidence that my situation, my environment isn't controlling me, that I can control it. And the more that I can control it, the more positive I think, and the more confident that I'm gaining. And so I think around positivity and those things, really it's a choice. And I know for sometimes we look at situations and go, how could I be positive in this situation? But really, as we look at this and we look at a situation, there's some sayings and cliches that we have. This too will pass. There's many situations. But the more that you think about it, the more that I think about that sometimes, a lot of times for me actually, when I start thinking more positively, it really does get me out of that situation. And maybe it's just some general level of acceptance for you that this situation while you may not like it, that you have to go on and that you accept it, and so because of that, you're going to shift your mindset from a negative 10 to maybe where 0 might be a neutral, maybe a 1 or a 2 or a 3. One thing I'd offer to you as far as shifting that mentality is just to start to smile, even if it's something that you don't even feel it. To start to smile. They say that sadness hurts, and it's hard when you're sad and all those emotions, that it hurts. Sometimes it's really hard to smile, but just smiling. I'm just smiling, but just cheesing. That smile will start then to shift your mood and your mindset and put you in a more positive state. So think about smiling, smile your way out of it, and hopefully that is one thing that might be helpful for you. Last question. What is your number one super skill? So I think this is an awesome question. In episode 2, I'm coming out of the gate with some of my, episode 1 was great of what is cognitive behavioral therapy. Episode 2, coming out with some great questions here. What's your number one super skill? Self-awareness. If I could give myself and I could give you guys anything, it would be self-awareness. If that would be one thing to focus on, it would be just being really self-aware. And what I mean by self-awareness is just really knowing yourself, knowing how you think, how you feel, and what you do. And you put that up against any situation. Right now I'm kind of being self-aware just of things around me and kind of what's going on and that kind of stuff. And I'm just, just self-aware of how I'm thinking and how I'm feeling, and my behaviors. And that really gives me a sense of control and confidence. Not only my state, my thoughts and my feelings, my behaviors, but just my comfort level, just who I am, and where I want to be. I talk a lot about Just Be You or JBU, and talk about how self-awareness, that I don't believe that we're a fixed state, that we're always changing, and we have the ability to be self-aware and understand the things maybe that are our strengths and the things that maybe are our struggles, to be self-aware of those, to focus on those, and then develop some skills and kind of work through some of those things. So strengthen our strengths and really work on our struggles. And I think only I think you could ask people around you, some good people, some close people that you trust, what are your strengths and your struggles? I'm going to link up the VIA in this, which is a great kind of an evaluation of evaluating your strengths. And I think it might help you be a little bit more self-aware of what are your strengths. But I think overall, the more that we know ourselves, our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors, just know who we are and be confident and comfortable with that. I think there's a lot of things in our world that may upset us or stir us up or cause us a lot of struggle, that the more self-aware we are, that we can put that self-awareness against it. And man, that really can get us through some situations. So self-awareness is that number one super skill that I'd love to give myself and love to give you guys. So hopefully that's helpful. Number one super skill. I'd love to know what you believe your strengths are, what you believe your struggles are. Episode 2. Wow, Chipotle here. It's nice outside. I love Chipotle. One of my favorite restaurants. One of the things that I'd like to ask you is question of the day. Question of the day. So episode 1, I asked you about what you do if you're at Prairie Fire. Question of the day. What is your favorite restaurant? Where do you go? Maybe it doesn't have to be all fancy and everything. It can be just like, a fast food or something like that. But what is one of your go-tos that you like? I came to Chipotle today because that's one of my go-tos. I love Chipotle. I love that Chipotle lime rice that they have, and I just love it. So what is one of your favorite restaurants? Answer that in the comment section. Hey guys, you keep asking the questions, I'll keep answering them. Take good care.